Notification, so I'm assuming we are live. There it goes on the screen. Welcome, everybody, to Count the Bucket. We look a little different today. And if y'all caught last week's show, you heard that Amber was going to be stepping back for just a little bit. So, first off, Amber, we definitely miss you. Got a couple new, well, not a couple new faces. Of course, I'm joined with my co-host, Nick, and we got Caleb here, who's going to be joining us for a show today talking about our top 10 centers. Last week, we did a top 10 power forwards. My list was in order like always. Nick says that it wasn't, it's okay. But once again, I have my top 10 of centers in order of what I want to say anyways. But of course, I have to throw something in there to make it a little controversial where you'd be like, really, you got him over him? Like, you know what? It adds for content, I think. But Nick, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about your things that you got going on. Just do your little plugs there.
Yes, sir. As you guys may know, the regular viewers, I am Nick Andre. I'm a basketball writer, analyst, covering everything from high school to the NBA or professional, wherever you want to call it. Follow me on Twitter, as you see right there, at Nick Andre ATR. Check the link in my link tree, or check the link tree link in my bio on Twitter, and you'll check everything out. It's basically like a resume of myself from podcasts, articles, you name it.
Sure.
All
I'll go ahead and go next.
Yeah.
I'm your boy Caleb Conant. You know what I'm saying? You can follow me below on Twitter at Caleb Conant2, CALEBCONANT2. You can follow me on Instagram at 1 Caleb Conant. That's 1 CALEBCONANT. On Instagram, click that link tree in the bio. You can find plenty of other things too. I'm coming from the MCS Real Sports Podcast, Jules and Jim's podcast. We drop every Thursday at 6 p.m. Make sure to check that out. I'm just multifaceted, man. You can catch me everywhere. You can go ahead and, while you click that link tree, go ahead and, tap in with my LinkedIn and catch some more there too. So I appreciate y'all, giving me the platform to sell myself or whatever that's called. Now let's get into it. Let's rock, man. Good to be with y'all.
All right. Sounds good. And of course, my name is Michael MD Lawson 00. My other show that I do have is Backstop Banter, live every Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, sometimes 10:30, depends on the work day. Go check that out as well. Now, I will say this, everyone that is viewing us right now, and I'll probably try to say this a couple more times, if you were to perhaps be watching this on Twitter, just so you know, if you do leave a comment, we cannot see it on our live stream anymore. A couple weeks ago, you could when it was the Periscope. Now that they switched to the Twitter Live, for right now anyways, it does not show up the comments. So if you wouldn't care, go to YouTube. In the search bar, type in Backstop Banter, not even Count the Bucket, but Unwrapped Sports Network, and you'll find everything that we have on all of our platforms, from Bets Unwrapped that just went off the air, Ladies First with Amber, Backstop Banter, Count the Bucket, everything on there. And just go ahead and hit subscribe and get the notifications turned on and leave your comments there. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Who wants to go first with your top 10? And it doesn't have to be in order.
I will go first because, I prepared this a few days ago. This was honestly the easiest list that I made, like, out of everything for some reason. Like, for some reason, I was just able to go through 10 just easily. So, I don't...
So are they in order?
It's semi... Okay, so, like, the first, 4 or 5 are in order, but then again, like, the rest of them is just kind of, all over the place. So, don't get mad at me whenever, somebody's over who, and y'all like, hey, what's going on? So, here are my top 10.
Get mad.
Number one, you got to go with the MVP, Jokic, out of Denver. Yes. The year that he had last year, almost averaging a triple-double. Just everything that he does on the floor, I feel like he's definitely the top. Number two, the guy in Philly, Joel Embiid, who in my opinion is the best offensive big man in the NBA as far as footwork, being able to get off his shot, being able to create his own shot in multiple ways. So he's definitely up there. Number three is Cat, the guy that does not get a lot of love just because he's out there in Minnesota. Minnesota's just been borderline pathetic over the last so many years. Number four, this one might surprise people because he's not really gifted offensively, but he's a beast defensively under the basket, Rudy Gobert. So I definitely got to add him in that list. Number five, another surpriser, another shocker, because we haven't really seen this guy probably in a while. Mitchell Robinson in New York, his defensive presence, and he has a good outside game, being able to stretch the floor. So I definitely think he's up there. Number six, Nikola Vujovic out of Chicago. We all know that he was an all-star last year when he was Orlando, and now he's traded to Chicago. So now we'll see how he can produce this year with a good multitude of players like Levine, Lonzo, DeRozan, et cetera. Number seven, Deandre Ayton. We can't ignore the type of postseason that he had. Unfortunately, he did get cooked by Giannis in those last 4 games of the finals, but besides that, he had a pretty good postseason. Number 8, this guy was in my power forward list, but because he will be playing center this year, I just ended up adding him anyway. Anthony Davis. I mean, we know he's listed as power forward, but
Right.
he is going to play center this year, so I just added him in anyways. Number 9, I got Miles Turner from Indiana. Very great, another great defensive player, another underrated offensive player as well, just being able to stretch the floor. And number 10, I got a guy that was just traded to New Orleans, playing alongside Zion, and that's Jonas Valanciunas.
Okay. There's someone that I don't think I heard you mention, and I was trying to log on our YouTube actually so we can get some more viewers, but I'll have to pay attention because he's on my list, and I actually thought he would be on yours. So we'll wait on that.
Okay.
All right.
Caleb, let's go ahead with yours.
Okay, you know what? To start off, Nick, you really had a tight list that I agreed with a lot. I might change the numbers a little bit, but
like I said, I mean, like the first like 5 was like probably in order. Then after that, it was just kind of mixed.
Yeah, it was a little bit of it everywhere, right? Yeah. So I think I would follow you with Nico. Like, I think Nico is literally the guy, and the reason he's that guy to me is because he's averaging 8 assists at 7-2. That's something that the NBA has never seen before. So I think he brings a different dimension to the game with being able to assist the ball like he can. Secondly, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Joel Embiid, he's like somebody that's like a Shaq of the time right now. We haven't seen a center as dominant as Shaq since Shaq, and I think he kind of is a replica of that. Because he's able to draw a lot of guys in the paint and get open shooters the ball, which is why they have Danny Green, Seth Curry, and all those type of guys. Third, I'm gonna go Rudy Gobert. I love Rudy Gobert because bro is fucking.
Rudy Gobert over Cat?
Rudy Gobert over Cat, yeah, for sure. As of right now. Let me tell you why, bro. His defense is impeccable, bro.
Somewhat. Now, he did get killed, when he was trying to guard perimeter players like Paul George and Terrence Mann in that Clippers series. So, I mean, his interior defense is there, but perimeter defense is decent, but it's not necessarily like locked down. I'll say that.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have Rudy Gobert switching on Steph Curry, or would you rather have Karl Anthony Towns switching?
It's tight, but I'll say Gobert just because I feel like his footwork is a little bit better. I mean, Cat's footwork is not necessarily there. Cat can move a little bit slower, so yeah, I'll definitely say Gobert. But I mean, it's not like it's Gobert by like miles ahead. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they're both right there, but I'll probably go Gobert.
I mean, I would probably just say Gobert for the defense part on that, but it's still just like Gobert guarding a perimeter at ranking 46 with Cat being ranked at 40%. I mean, that would be horrible weaknesses, But yeah, definitely Gobert on Steph if you could actually have that.
Yeah, that kind of, that situation, the reason why I asked you guys that question is because a situation like that happens at the end of the game where
either way, both of them are getting cooked.
Oh yeah, they're about to be a highlight.
Yeah, either way, like if it happens more than once or twice, it's more than likely they're gonna get cooked. But I'll tell you this, like if it even came between Rudy Gobert and Nikola Jokic, like I'd want Rudy Gobert on Steph because I know like Jokic and that switch is just not gonna mix well. You feel me?
All right, carry on. Who else we got? Gobert.
But yeah, next I'm gonna go with Bam. No, actually no. I skipped 4. So 4 is actually Karl Anthony Towns, and obviously we know what's a good offensive dimension to the game, being able to shoot, stretch the floor, and being the size that he's at. 5th on my list is Bam. Again, as you guys can see, why I put Rudy Gobert fucking number 3. His defense is impeccable. I like Bam's defense. I think that he's continuously improving to be a better player. So I think with that being the case, he will, climb up that ladder. But just seeing him improve, going from, mainly defense to adding some offense to his game has been definitely good to see. Sixth, I'm gonna fuck with Deandre Ayton. I think he had an amazing year, and I think that he's gonna have an even better year this year, as he's gonna be asked to do more since Chris Paul is getting older. That's just inevitable. Seven, I'm gonna go with Clint. Like I said, I'm a defensive type of guy.
Okay.
When it comes to fucking defense, I love a center who could play defense, rebound the ball, and play that dunking spot.
You know what? Now that you said that, I'm gonna put Clint ahead of Jonas. So Clint's gonna be on my 10.
Okay. For sure. I like that. So yeah, and then 7, I'm gonna go with Nikola. Nikola is definitely another guy who's like super fucking smooth, you know what I'm saying? Not that he attracts double teams and stuff like that, but he's just really like smooth. And then number 9, bro, like I'm definitely gonna have to rock with Christian Wood. I think he made a big jump last year, just surprising everybody. But I think his game is actually like he's not. I don't know about a superstar. I seen that
he's an all-star caliber.
Yeah, he's definitely an all-star caliber player, but I don't know about a superstar. And then
Nick, was
10,
he on your list? Christian Wood, was he on your list?
He was on my power forwards list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's who actually was thinking. I was like, did he not list him here? But you did power forwards. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what, bro? I would have put AD in this list because honestly, like he is a 5. You know what I'm saying? But he's not a 5. But right now, this 10 spot, bro, it's deep to it holds a tight place in my heart because, yeah, I think Giannis, even Miles Turner are deserving of that spot, but I feel like Jared Allen and I feel like definitely Evan Mobley is gonna have a great year this year. But you know what? Going to that 10 spot, I'm gonna go ahead and give that to Jonas Valanciunas because he's back to back. He's had like consistent years when we look at his points per game and we look at his rebounds. Like he definitely brings value to that part of the floor. So that's my top 10, man.
That's good. Good. Nick, you got any problems with it or any comments on it?
No. I mean, I'm not mad at it, honestly. I definitely would have added AD in there just because, I mean, it's kind of like I said. I mean, he was in my power forward list, but then they announced he was playing the 5, so I was like, I guess we'll have to add him in as a center as well. But I'm not mad at either or.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of think AD is just a given number 1, really. But when it comes to center, but he's such a switch.
Right.
Like, is he always a 5 with us? At times when we need him to go crazy, he's gonna be. But other than that, like I see him playing 4 just because that's where he likes to be. But go ahead, Michael.
Well, I did not put him in my 5 because I did have him on my 4, even though he'll probably be playing a lot of 5 this year, and he needed to last year, but that's another story. So honestly, right as we started the show, you might have seen me looking down on my phone. I was doing different things. I actually went ahead and switched my 1 and 2. I had Joker as 1 as you all were talking about him. Then I was sitting there thinking, he had the 8 assists and all that stuff going on. And I mean, he was MVP, which was amazing that he did what he did. But I think his numbers won't be the same because hopefully Murray will be back this year. I think they'll take a little bit of hit. So actually switch and put Embiid as my number 1 because we're thinking Ben Simmons is going to be gone. So we don't know exactly what's going to go on. And what I'm thinking here is I'm trying to put this as like a preseason rank for next year, not what they did last year. I'm thinking this is how they're going to end this or be this year. So I got Embiid as 1, Joker as 2. I have Ayton as 3 with the Suns. I think he's going to take this big of a step. Listen, I'm big on the Suns, Caleb. If you've ever watched your show at all, I love the Suns and Booker. But we're not going to go into that because they were not here and it'll be weird. At 4, I have Bam because I just absolutely
I thought Bam was on your 4 list. Or was he not?
He's for sure a given 5 though.
Actually,
like, I'll allow that.
I'm not for sure. I can't remember. As you say that, let me go back. I have my list saved.
See, that's the hard thing though, because it's like people are switched from 4 to 5, so you don't really know where to put him.
Did not have him on my list. I had Giannis, AD, Julius Randle, Sabonis, Zion, John Collins, Draymond Green, Tobias Harris, Pascal, Aaron Gordon, and some honorable mentions. So,
Okay.
I actually have here in my honors, Bam, and then I didn't put him on there because I have him as a 5. Okay.
Okay.
So, I'll pull this back up. I got Bam at 4 because I think with his team that he has around him now and the different levels that he's already been stepping up, I think he's going to have a great all-star year this year. I have Towns at 5. Gobert at 6, just because I think of his defense, which is great. I also thought he got exposed in the playoffs. And I have a feeling teams are going to start using that this year and put him out on an island, really. At 7, I put Christian Wood. Again, I'm trying to predict a little bit high on this, so I'm going to go with Christian Wood on this. And at 8, I got Vujovic from Chicago. I think he's going to have an outstanding year. 9, I have Valanciunas. 10, I've got Miles Turner. Now, in my honorables, obviously, Capella, I got Jarrett Allen, Nurkic, and Robin Williams. Robin Williams. Wow, what in the world did I just say there? Robin Lopez. I think they at least need to be mentioned here because they're going to have outstanding years as well.
You think Robin Lopez is going to have a solid year? Or did you say Brook?
Did I?
You might have meant to say Brook.
Yeah,
I meant to say Brook. I definitely meant Brook, but I wrote down Robin. I apologize on that because that's the one that looks like a caveman. Yes, we want Brook on that one.
Okay, so I have a question about your 1 and 2, Jokic and Embiid. So do you? Because in my opinion, I think Embiid. Sorry, not Embiid. I think Jokic is going to repeat as MVP. So you don't think? So you think that once? Okay, so you think that once Murray comes back, that his numbers are just gonna kind of slightly go down?
I think slightly go down. They have to a little bit because the ball will have to be out of his hands just a tad bit.
But that's the thing though, because if you remember, Murray,
of course, he's going to probably come off the screen and kind of have the ball screen if that makes sense, and then hand it off to Murray as he attacks to get the assist there.
Exactly, but here's the thing that you got to remember: like Murray kind of got injured towards the end of the year, so Murray did play the majority of this last season. And Jokic was still able to get the numbers. So you think that, once Murray comes back, that, things are just going to be different now?
No, I think that Embiid is going to be the man in Philadelphia. You know what? I'm trying to predict, okay?
No, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
I want to add.
For a day, I had Joker there. And then just as we started talking, it's like, you know what? That's the easy answer here. So I'm just going to go with Embiid on this. Even though I don't like Embiid. I think, he's a quitter in past times.
He's definitely not right now.
No, he's definitely not. And we'll definitely get into that conversation in a little bit. But so I'm gonna jump with Embiid on this for next year as the best center.
And you know what? Just to add on to that, I agree with your assumption that maybe Nikola won't have the same numbers and Embiid will have, improved the numbers due to Simmons being out, Murray, coming back. But then again, for me, I would have made that assumption too, but I kind of think Murray's coming back. He did take a hard hit. I don't know what exactly he messed up. I want to say it was his Achilles.
It was ACL.
ACL. So that's gonna change the way his game is a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I think he might be even asked to do a little bit more, and Murray might find a bit of a different role as far as not he runs around a lot. He runs around a fuck ton. So that's gonna stop. It's definitely gonna stop. He's gonna probably be like a spot up shooter, but I'm excited to see how he adjusts with that this year.
But my only question here on this is if Embiid didn't miss any games last year and played a full season, would Joker still got the MVP or would it have been a different case?
I think so, yeah.
See, that's the thing though, because last year Embiid was like the forefront for the MVP trophy. But then I think there was like a stretch of the year where he did get injured, and as he got injured, obviously Jokic just continued to take over. So that's the thing. It's also about availability as well, because you remember Jokic played all 72 games last year, so that's why he got the MVP. So whoever's more healthy and whoever is able to get their team to at least a top 3 seed in the conference, I feel like they definitely have a chance of MVP. And that's also the concern that I do have with Embiid. It's not because here's the thing, he almost averaged 30 last year. So I'm definitely expecting him to do that again. But my question is, how good is Philly going to be this year? Now that Ben Simmons is practically out, you know what I'm saying? Do we expect him to still be a top 3 or 4 seed in the East?
Oh, regular season they'll be good, but playoff, that's when Doc chokes and everything falls apart.
Everything falls apart.
That's definitely what I think we need to do next week, Nick. If you're in for it, is go ahead and start and get our top 10, or just list the East.
Okay.
what we actually think they're going to. I think that'd be a good episode.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
we kind of know how Amber's list is, even though it's a bit off. But you know what? If she hits, she's amazing. Just so you know, Caleb, let me bust this out. This is her hot takes paper, and Amber, she basically made it by saying that she thinks a guarantee, as she would say, that the Cavs will make the playoffs this coming year. Yes, the Cavs.
I disagree, but you know, hey, you just never know.
I mean,
yeah.
Let's be honest. As good as the East is, like, I think this year the East is actually good from like 1 through 11. It's better than the West 1 through 11. It's just the West is like 1 through 4 is solid. But as it goes on, you're like, okay, it could be this.
It might actually be even on both sides. I'm trying to think of like the lower teams in the West. I mean, you got New Orleans there. Who else? San Antonio's probably going to still be good. Yeah, Memphis.
The Grizzlies. You got Minnesota. Minnesota should be a playoff.
Minnesota's probably gonna be last seed. I'm sorry. They probably gonna be 15.
At first, when you said Minnesota, I was like, yeah.
Number 1 picks. Like, they should be a solid team. They should.
Yeah.
It should be a fucking solid team.
So
they should.
You got D'Lo, Anthony, and Cat. I'm telling you,
they
bro.
may have been by the end of the year, which.
Nah. That would be the stupidest shit they ever did if they did that.
Add Ben? You're saying adding Ben Simmons alongside Karl-Anthony Towns is a bad move?
No, but here's the thing: if they add Ben, they're gonna have to give up
D'Lo, probably, yeah. Which, in my opinion, I'm honestly all for it if that happens. Because I mean, you still have Anthony. Well, here's the thing: if you don't have to give up guys like Malik Beasley and like a few other shooters, then you know what I mean, you're good. Because I mean, here's the thing: Ben Simmons needs to have shooters around him. So if he has a guy like Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards, and Karl-Anthony Towns surrounding him, I feel like that team can be very, very successful. Now, in my opinion, it might be like another Philadelphia 2.0, but that team can at least make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, that's like a Philadelphia 2.0 with a better Jimmy Butler as their guard player who's going to get a bucket. Like, and Anthony Edwards is still young.
That is cussing to me because I absolutely love Jimmy Butler, and
I love Jimmy Butler too.
Blaspheming to me.
Like, let's be Let's be realistic here. In 5 years, who's going to be better?
Who, Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons?
No, or Anthony Edwards.
In 5 years, Jimmy Butler might be 40.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Jimmy Butler's older.
Yeah, but like you could even put 5 years. Give Anthony Edwards 5 years.
Oh yeah, Anthony Edwards is probably gonna be like an MVP candidate around that time. He'd definitely be at least up there.
Yeah, then Jimmy Butler's not that, but he's great. Don't get me wrong, but he's not that. He's not that. We've seen that when he went to the finals and played the Lakers, he got swept. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
they won a couple of games.
Jimmy Butler. You don't remember that game 5? He dropped like 40 that game 5. You don't remember that in the bubble?
Pretty much like had Gatorade in his veins just to revive him because he gave everything out on the court.
He's a Laker fan. He's not gonna remember. He's a Laker fan.
He's like, all I remember is we won.
I don't remember that. I just think honestly, my point is Anthony Edwards is better. Is going to be better than.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, Anthony Edwards would definitely be better than Jimmy Butler in 15 years. I mean, we can all agree on that, right?
Oh,
yeah, I think he'll end up having a bit of a better career. That's just my.
Oh, better career?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
Talent-wise, you're gonna be able to look back and be like, okay, talent-wise, this guy was better.
At this point, considering how Minnesota's front office is and everything, because it's just super crappy down there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Edwards ends up like pursuing his career elsewhere. I mean, thriving.
Can you tell me any great players that played for Minnesota?
Kevin Garnett.
Ray
Allen. Did Ray Allen play there too?
But where did he have most of his career? Probably Boston.
Ray Allen got drafted at Minnesota, but he ended up going to I think Milwaukee. But Kevin Garnett won an MVP in Minnesota.
Right, but still, when you think of Kevin Garnett, most people think of Boston, right?
So some people do think of Boston, but some people do think Minnesota. I mean, it really just depends like what era you came from. Because I mean, a lot of people grew up watching Minnesota, Kevin Garnett, and then there's some people that may have started watching basketball like watching him in Boston. So I get it because I mean, here's the thing: like when he did go to Boston, he ended up winning a championship. He ended up winning a Defensive Player of the Year. So I mean, I guess I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say probably Latrell Sprewell is my only like true Minnesota
Latrell
player that I can think
Sprewell.
of. And of course, Karl-Anthony Towns. But
Stephon Marbury played there for a while, but I mean, nobody really
I
remembers
actually
Stephon
think of
Marbury.
him as I love him. I actually think of him
I love
as
him
a
too.
net
Yeah,
more.
no, Marbury was hard. I remember I used to actually go buy his clothes and shit. You remember Starberry?
I remember that. Yeah.
If I'm not
I remember
You
that.
get that at Burlington and shit. That was a grab. So.
That's for like 1999.
Yeah, you had the Starberry jersey. Then he ended up putting out his own shoe and all types of stuff. But I understand, like Minnesota's a mid market, low market team. I mean,
just to throw this out here, since y'all threw that out, Stephon Marbury, if you see that, he follows me on Twitter.
Hey,
Yeah.
hang on. I need a follow.
Hey,
Actually, when he was playing in China, it's probably been 6 or 7 years ago. He put something out, and I followed him. And was like, "Hey, man, I absolutely love your career." He said, "Oh, you follow me, I follow you back." It's like, okay, that's awesome. So you know what? Now I need to get him on the show.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what up. Shout out Starberry, man.
Yeah, that's right. Come on the show, Starberry. We appreciate it. You can put out your merch. We'll be fine with it. I want him to start coaching. Like, isn't he coaching in China now? After he retired, I'm pretty sure he took over a team that he was playing for and started coaching.
I honestly haven't kept up with him in about a few years, so I have no idea what he's doing. I have
We're
no
besties,
clue.
you know. We're Twitter besties, so I keep up with him.
Oh man.
All right, so let's see here. Any other Minnesota great that you all can think of?
Well, we said KG, we said Sprewell, we said Starbury. I'm trying to think of somebody from like the 90s
Me too.
that stand out. Because I think Minnesota came around like in the 90s, I want to say. I think that's when they started the franchise.
Wonder who were they before?
And KG was drafted in 95.
Okay.
Because he's a year before Kobe. I remember that.
I can't believe we're actually like having to Google like Minnesota Timberwolves greats or something.
KG. Okay, so like, you know.
Kevin Love.
Oh yeah, Kevin Love.
Oh, yeah.
My God. How do we forget Kevin Love?
Jimmy Butler actually played with the
Rubio.
But then again, I mean, Kevin Love never made the playoffs with Minnesota, so I guess it never stood out.
Zach LaVine
Well, actually,
was there before they boomed.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine was there.
Derek Williams, mad high.
But here's the thing, though, like you're not gonna remember Zach LaVine
Corey Brewer.
Corey Brewer. Like my thing is like you're not gonna really remember Zach LaVine in a Minnesota uniform unless it's really about the dunk contest that he used to do.
Yeah.
True.
Now, I will say Ricky Rubio.
Guys,
I think of Timberwolves.
Ricky Rubio.
OJ Mayo. Remember OJ Mayo was that guy?
Oh wow, yeah.
They missed on him. Antoine Walker was probably a good pick that they had. They had Derrick Rose for a minute. Derrick Rose had that 50-point game back there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like you're not gonna remember D Rose in a Timberwolves uniform. Like
Zerbiak. That's
Wally. I remember that.
I forgot him.
Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin, maybe. Kevin Martin was mostly like Houston.
He was what? What? No.
Yeah, he was in Houston.
No.
Sam Cassell. That's another one.
Sam Cassell. Yeah.
Wait.
He played with KG out there.
You're right. Yeah. He started with Houston, and then
he went to he went to OKC in that Harden trade.
Yeah.
And I forgot about Al Jefferson. He also played.
Al Jefferson.
I thought of him more of a Charlotte Bobcats.
Honestly, they've just missed a lot of number one picks. They've just really fucking.
Let's see here. Got Chris jumping on the Wally. Everybody loved Wally back in the day, man. He could drain it, that's for sure.
Who's Wally?
Wally Zerbiak, you remember him?
Zerbiak. You might be too young, Caleb. How old are you?
21, actually. My birthday was Monday.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
He might remember Wally from Cleveland because remember he did play with LeBron in Cleveland as well. Like that was like the first stint in Cleveland, like before LeBron went to Miami.
Who the fuck is Wally?
Oh yeah. Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Wally played with LeBron for a few years in Cleveland.
Wally World, baby.
Wally Zerbiak, man, golly.
Yeah, I definitely don't know that guy.
I've been watching NBA since like 2000, so I remember this about everything.
I'm 35, so like I was during this time. I probably started in the early 90s. I was born in 86, so 90s, mid 90s when I started getting into it. Nice. But yeah, Wally Zerbiak, man, out of nowhere, like he had this like gringy beard, like it didn't even look like a good beard, but it would just grow, and he'd be like, okay, this guy cannot play basketball. All of a sudden, it's like he's draining threes before it was like even popular to shoot them. Like, okay, this guy's legit now. Okay, Let's move on over to y'all want to talk about Ben right now?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sure, why not?
So what do we want to discuss? Do we want to discuss the Joel convo, or just talk about Ben in general?
I have a feeling it to go hand in foot, really. But let's start with the Embiid comment. You got it pulled up?
Let me find it.
Okay, while you find it, I will.
Well, I mean, I could basically paraphrase it. Like, I didn't actually hear him say it, but I do know that, he was basically saying that, the reason, like, he didn't understand, like, the reason why Ben was unhappy, because according to Joel, like, everything was really based around him. I mean, like, for instance, like, they gave up Jimmy Butler basically so Ben Simmons could have the ball more in his hands and everything. So basically what Joel was saying was that Philly basically gave him everything that he wanted. He had the ball in his hands more often. He was utilizing everything, but I don't know. I guess it just wasn't meant to be. So my whole thing with it is just, I'm sure Joel is probably tired of everything that's going on. He backed up. Oh, I mean, here's the thing. Like, during the press conference after that Game 7, Doc Rivers and Joel definitely threw him under the bus. So I definitely understand that.
What it sounds like to me is Ben has a confident problem where he is just not confident in himself whatsoever. And all these fans have been hollering at him a little bit that he can't shoot, he won't shoot, he can't make the three, and Ben doesn't like shooting the three too much. So it almost sounds to me like they've been over backwards to try to please the guy, as with Embiid's comments here. Yeah. And he's still having his issues, and he just has finally given up. Because if you hear a lot of people saying that you suck, you're going to think you suck after a while, and you're ready to get out of there. Caleb, what do you think on it, man?
Honestly, man, I think, he's doing the right thing. Not the fact that he's aborting his team, but the fact that, like, he's already in a situation where he doesn't feel confident in his skills, and he doesn't feel confident that the coaches and the team are confident in him and his skills. So imagine if he does come back and they struggle, that could really, do bad in the long run. So I feel like at this point, his head's not there, his heart's not there with the organization, and he should move on. I just don't agree with the fact that, he's losing a lot of money for one, and I think just, the way he's kind of playing it is not a good representation of himself. But in the league of stars,
so
like that's what happens right now. You just gotta fucking play how the cards play. So yeah.
I want to know how y'all really feel about this situation, because it's like a part of me I understand, especially after because here's the thing, like, we all understand that Ben Simmons did not play well in that Game 7. I think that's pretty clear as day. But then again, it's like, I think it's also frustrating to where, after the game, you hear Doc Rivers. Basically, someone asked Doc Rivers, like, does he see Ben Simmons as the starting point guard for this team in the future? And then Doc says he doesn't know. And then I can't remember exactly what Embiid said, but it definitely had him thrown under the bus. So I can understand as far as why he wants out, because he feels like, his team has turned their back on him and everything. But I just kind of hate it, though, because we all know how bad he played, and he knows how bad he played. I mean, there's no question about it. He knows how bad he played. In my opinion, he should come back. He should want to come back with something to prove. So that's my thing. So now, he's making it seem like, he's the victim here and everything. He's not the victim whatsoever, in my opinion. Like, you had that bad Game 7. If he would have had a better game, let's be honest. I mean, Atlanta has no shot at Philly if Ben Simmons is at least having like at least 18, 20 points in that game. There's no question about it. So he knows that if he would have played better, they would have won. So my whole thing is, we get it, but why don't you come into this season with something to prove? Why don't you show up the training camp, ready to go? So, I mean, it's like, I understand why he wants out, and, I'm not mad at him for wanting a trade, but I just wish that, he would still want to come out and have something to prove this year.
Yeah, and I just to add on top of that, I think what would be even sweeter is if he just came back, proves a little bit of something with the Sixers, just ball out for 2 weeks of 40-point games. Don't play anymore.
Just dip out.
Don't even play. I'm done. Trade me. You feel me? I think that would be.
But that's my thing. So
I think Philly would be fine with that, though, because it adds a little more credit to trading him.
But that's the thing, though. Like, say for instance, like, we go on the All-Star break and there's no Ben Simmons trade at all, and he doesn't even play a game for the Sixers. Like, does that kind of like lower his value?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so because
It depends. Are
I
they
think
paying
his
him or
value
not?
gets higher.
They're
and
probably
higher
not paying
as
him,
he
and he's probably got to pay like a fine every single game that he misses. So that's about, because I mean, going into All-Star break, like each team probably played at least like 50 plus games. So that's like 50 games where you got to pay for each game.
Here's
I
Chris
think
chimed in and
it's
said,
definitely hurting his pockets, but I think every day he waits, his trade value gets higher and higher and higher
"Really?
and
You
higher
think
and
it's
higher.
okay?
I think
But
it
that's
goes
I think
down."
But here's
The
the
more he
thing, though,
costs,
like
I think it goes down.
even now, it's like teams are not really going out of their way to really make this, like make a trade for Ben right now. I mean, there's a few teams, like, you know what I'm saying, like we said, Minnesota, Houston, or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, like you would think a guy like Ben Simmons, everybody would want to just go out and say, we want this guy, we're going to give you all that we can. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, Philly's going to want a large package for Ben Simmons, because at the end of the day, that's their all-star. But it just seems like teams are already like kind of like, you know, second guessing themselves, like, hey, like, do we really want to make this happen for a guy that, you know, that's not even showing up to training camp and is, you know, that's willing to lose all this money just because he doesn't want to play for a team again.
I think
Chris said here, said so much to blame on
this.
this. Let me get to this comment real quick.
Before we go to that real quick,
Go ahead.
I want to just add on. I said, I think, you know, you got to look at Ben as like a stock. Like he could go down or go up depending on what he does. Right now, he's at a solid level where Philly can still get something, and he can still kind of go where he'd like. But I think he's like a stock, bro. If he does something where he plays and he's not so good, then it's gonna be a lot harder for them to trade him.
All right, Chris said that so much of the blame on 76ers struggles have fallen on Ben's shoulders, whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I think I think he just wants to go somewhere else where he is not the scapegoat. I think Philly hit their ceiling with him, especially with some of the other teams in the league, and he needs to find a better home. I kind of agree to a certain extent. While I think he needs out, I do think Ben's performance where, I mean, we know his weaknesses is almost, and I'm going to say this, but don't hold me as I'm comparing them to, is Westbrook doesn't like to shoot, doesn't have the great shot. He loves to shoot, don't get me wrong on that, but he doesn't have a great shot from deep, so everyone knows that's his weakness. Back off of him. Ben don't even shoot it, so you know you can back off on him.
That's also the thing, and not to cut you off, but you can even use Giannis as another example, a guy who really cannot shoot, but you know what I'm saying, like even when we even seen in the playoffs, like many times he's like, you know, if you're gonna leave me open, I'm gonna shoot it regardless. So it's not the fact that Ben can't shoot, it's just the fact that he doesn't want to shoot.
And it's crazy because I think back in my high school career, there was a guy on our team, his last name was Massey, and he would get the ball at the 3-point line, and everyone on the team, when he would shoot, we'd be like, why in the world are you shooting it? But if you were on the other team or just a fan watching, like, oh, man, that dude's got good form. Like, you could tell he's a shooter. You know, some people shoot the ball good, even though it never goes in, it seems like. Massey was one of those guys. He never could make a shot, but everyone else would respect him because the way he even looked like he shot. It's like when he would shoot, be like, oh, okay, we got to get out on him. If he gets hot, we're hurt, you know. So even Ben, where he doesn't shoot, you know it's not even going to be shot, you know. So if Ben would even just shoot the ball with confidence sometimes, that alone would have an impact on the defensive side where they'd be coming on out and opening up the middle. Now, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, because I'm ADHD, if he does go to Minnesota, almost like a Joel Embiid with Karl Anthony Towns, will that clog the middle too much? But I guess Minnesota do have some more shooters out there.
Well, the thing about it is that, I mean, Ben's going to be on the perimeter anyway, just because, you know, he's the floor general. So I mean, he's the point guard, so he's going to already be out there trying to initiate the offense. Now, unless I don't know who the coach is in Minnesota, unless he wants to place him down on the block and use him as possibly like a post scorer, which I feel like Ben would definitely not like that, in my opinion, especially when you're going for Philly being the guy with the primary ball handler to now going down over there. So I don't know. I mean, you know, unless that's how they're going to utilize Ben, and then of course it's going to clog the lane just because, I mean, Ben's not able to stretch the floor and everything. But I feel like wherever he goes, Ben has to be utilized as the floor general. I mean, Ben Simmons has one of the best offensive awareness out of anybody in the NBA, in my opinion. So I mean, in my opinion, I think it'd be stupid if you just have him on the block the entire time.
Oh yeah, and Cat does play outside a lot. I mean,
he definitely does
a pretty shot from outside.
Cat is more of a stretch big anyway. I mean, he scores around the paint, but it's not really a strong suit in my eyes. I mean, he's more of like, you know, like an outside scorer.
Could Ben play the 5 on offense and Cat play the 4, and then on defense switch it around?
Now, I don't even want to abort. I don't want to abort that team question, but I want to say something about Ben that I think a lot of people are trying to get to. And the point is, he needs to be used as a Giannis. Like Giannis has other guys around him. Gotta give our credit to Chris Middleton. Gotta give our credit to Drew Holiday and those other guys too. But Giannis' responsibility is to get in the paint, attract defenders, kick the shit out.
But that's the thing, though. Like he has to get the confidence that Giannis has. That's kind of like what I said earlier. I mean, we all know Giannis is not. I mean, we all know Giannis is going to attack the rim. But thing about it is that defenses already know where he wants to go, so they're going to clog that lane whenever he gets there. That's where Giannis says, you know what, I'm going to step outside and shoot jump shots because if they're going to give it to me, I'm going to shoot it regardless of if I make it or not. Ben doesn't want to do that. Ben doesn't want to do that. Ben, like literally, like even in this past season, like I saw many times Ben have the ball in his hands, Ben wide open on the wing on the corner 3-point shot, and he's literally second guessing himself. Do I want to shoot this shot? So that's the thing. Giannis is not going to second guess. And here's the thing: we all know he's not a good shooter, but if you leave him open, he's going to make it. So that's the difference. You know, Giannis has that confidence, so that's why he's able to be in that attack mode. Outside of Ben Simmons, who just really wants to work around the paint, and even then he doesn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? We saw in that game 7 he passed off a wide open dunk.
Yeah.
You know, right. I do think there's one common fact or one difference in this too. Giannis in his style does kind of mimic Ben's. We all agree on that. But Giannis didn't have someone else on his team down low that was better than him demanding the ball.
That's true. That is true.
So I think Ben, when he does go somewhere, he needs to be the guy. And I think
it really works out for y'all. And like it really does work out for y'all because I mean, even Brook Lopez is not a guy with the back to the basket. He's like a Dollar General Giannis.
I mean,
that's messed up.
he ain't wrong here. I brought it back up. My bad.
Oh my god! But I mean, but then again, I mean, like that offense really works around Giannis because everybody around him could shoot. Like from Chris Middleton to Drew Holiday to Pat Connaughton to even Brook Lopez. So everybody on the floor surrounding him can space the floor and be able to knock down shots. So that automatically opens up the lane. Now here's the thing though, like. I mean, we even saw it last year. I mean, like, Doc really utilized Embiid around the post area. So Embiid wasn't really like a stretch big, kind of like he was the previous years when they were under Brett Brown. Doc kind of utilized him more, being around the block and everything. And it benefited him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he almost won an MVP off of it. So, just looking at that, I definitely agree with y'all. Like, that won't work for a guy like Ben Simmons, especially, considering that, he does love to attack and everything. So, wherever he goes, maybe Minnesota will be a better fit just because Cat is more of a stretch big, and he's gonna more so get his points around mid-range shots, 3-point shots.
Here's where I think he needs to go, and it never happened. But could you imagine if he played for Utah?
I wouldn't mind. But that's the thing though, like you know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, Rudy doesn't really stretch the floor either on offense. I mean, Rudy's not really a big factor on offense.
But he's not a big guy that wants the ball.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
I'm just thinking because if you had Ben bringing the ball up,
Michael,
you move Mike Conley. Sorry, you're going to Philly. Get you some picks.
Honestly, that wouldn't really be bad. Mike Conley and Joel Embiid, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I mean they would be nice. And then even looking back over there, have a good one. He did message us that he may bounce here shortly. I thought he said 40 minutes, but you know what? I guess he had to go on. But I'm just thinking out loud is Utah, you've got Ingles that can shoot. You've got Mitchell already that can create.
That is true. Shoot. Utah got some shooters.
So, I mean, with Gobert not really clogging up the middle because he almost plays like a Dwight Howard style back with the Magic, let me just set picks everywhere and catch a lob. That's his offense. I think Utah could actually make it work.
Utah might be able to make it work. How do you think about? I think we might have discussed this like the last episode or a few episodes ago. Possibly Houston playing alongside Christian Wood, Jalen Green, and the rest of those guys.
Mm-hmm. I think we talked about it a little bit. I think we focus more on Portland and Cleveland because I will say Houston I don't know too much about anymore. They've gotten picks galore and lost everyone. I know they have John Wall. That's about it. Because now that I say that, I think. And
that's the thing. Like the reason why I said it is because I feel like a John Wall, Ben Simmons trade could possibly work. Now, obviously, Philly would have to match that contract. I mean, they'll probably have to give up more than Ben. I mean, they might have to give up a few other guys and maybe some picks, but. I feel like John Wall can really flourish in Philadelphia, playing alongside Embiid, and I feel like Ben Simmons could possibly flourish as well in Houston. But then again, Houston is more of a big market, though. So does Ben deserve? I mean, obviously, being represented by Clutch Sports and everything, with Rich Paul and those guys, Ben is probably more likely going to go in a larger market. But we obviously talked about, the limelight of, Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? The pressure it is playing in Philadelphia. Like, is he built to go into another big market?
Right. I don't know. I'm gonna be stuck on this Utah Jazz for a long time now, I think. Because could you imagine that defense with Ben?
Oh yeah.
Gobert?
Oh my God. Number one in the league. Without question. Number one.
Man, I like
honestly, if that were to happen, that might be one of the biggest moves Utah has made in probably like decades. Honestly, because Utah is not
for somebody to come there. Wow,
exactly. Utah hasn't made really a big move in some years. I mean, besides the Mike Conley trade a few years ago, but besides that, they haven't really gotten like an all-star caliber player like that.
Dwyane Wade, make that happen. Let's see.
He might. Honestly, Dwyane Wade could probably make some stuff happen. Yeah. To be honest.
I think that's actually a great. I want to say he's part owner. I don't know how.
Yeah. I think. He is part owner of the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome, and I think Dwyane Wade would be the guy that could actually try to make some noise for that team. So yeah, going from the first place to really pooping in the bed in the playoffs to getting Ben Simmons, and I think that would actually put them back over the top. Actually, the only thing I would worry about, but I don't think it would be a problem, is where Ben is hesitant to shoot and wants to pass more. I think Spider would actually love that. Hey, don't shoot the three, give it over to me, and I'll shoot it. So I think it'll be a good team, and that organization runs so fluid as a team. I think that would be great. So I'm gonna write that down. Ben to Utah.
Ben to Utah.
I'm gonna have to tweet and Instagram message Dwyane Wade after this. Be like, hey, listen, I said this, and it needs to happen.
I wonder if that can work, honestly. Ben in Utah. I mean, I'm talking like as far as the trade possibly happening, the contracts matching up and everything. Obviously, it can work on the floor, but I don't know. I mean, Philly is. I feel like the reason why a lot of people will not go for trades is because Philly's asking for a big package. Like, if you're trading for Ben Simmons,
Conley,
exactly. So
2 more first-round picks.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Like, saying people are like looking at themselves like, do we really want to make this risk for a guy like Ben Simmons who when we last saw play didn't really play that well, but. I mean, it's tough. I mean, in my opinion, if you're Utah, you should do it just because. I mean, we already know that they're a good team in the West, but I feel like with Ben Simmons, they'll definitely elevate. But
especially the defense,
definitely defensively. Oh my God, they're going to be locked down defensively. Like, you have to understand that Ben Simmons is a guy that can guard 1 through 5, and then you have a great interior defender in Rudy Gobert. Donovan Mitchell's a pretty decent defender. I'm not going to say he's a great defender, but he's a pretty decent defender. So Utah's going to be a team to be messing with if that happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I would say they switch every pick, just to be honest with you. Just like, just keep on going with it.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So we talked about Ben, and now that he's going to Utah, we know that. This is news to me. I hadn't heard it, but you had mentioned it. You want to go on with the Kawhi?
Yeah. So this morning I saw on my phone that apparently Kawhi Leonard's ACL injury, the rehab process has been going a little bit faster than expected. So apparently he may be projected to return sometime this year. I don't know if it's true. No one, a guy like Kawhi, he might sit there throughout the whole year, but you never know. I mean, technology is new nowadays, or technology is better nowadays. So, a lot of guys are really recovering from injuries a lot faster. Obviously, if you're Kawhi, like the smartest decision would be to sit the whole year. Because we obviously saw, Klay Thompson when he had his ACL injury, he sat out the whole year. But then again, that was a different circumstance. The Warriors were pathetic that entire year, so there was really no reason on coming back unless you just wanted to really, get some playing time out there. But besides that, I mean, Kawhi, considering that the Clippers are contenders, they're going to be good this year with Paul George, leading the way. But the question is, will they be like a top 3-4 team in the West without Kawhi? So if Kawhi does look at that situation and he does want to come back, then I'm all for it. But I feel like with Kawhi. I feel like with him, he'll probably want to stay out the whole year. But then again, don't count out a possibility for him to return sometime this year.
Just reading here a little article that was written yesterday, Sports Illustrated, I think. He's ahead of schedule, so what they're talking about, what you had mentioned. He had surgery on Tuesday, July 13th. Why I had to say Tuesday, I don't know, but it did. And it said most cases, athletes will return back to practice in 8 to 9 months with an ACL tear. They said he would actually be looking at March or April to rejoin the team with practicing. Said despite this, they still probably look like they're going to wait until the end, even though he's ahead of schedule, probably still wait. They're in no rush to bring him in sooner. And like you said, we know he sit out a whole year already once before, just trying to recover. And I think it was with the Spurs during that time. Then he went on to the Raptors. So I don't think they rush it. It would be nice. I think it's really going to be probably more about playoff time, like who they're about to be matched up with, how's that going before they even bring him back. And I'm okay with that, if that makes any sense. I think Leonard has proved himself. We know where he's at. And I think this is going to be a Paul George MVP year just because of this. And I think it would be a great spark to add him late in the season where it'd be like, okay, this is the team. We see where we're at. Now let me add this extra player. So I don't think they rush him back any. Do you?
I don't think they will, considering, that franchise. I can't imagine the Clippers being third or fourth in the West. I honestly agree, to be honest, because the West is so tough. We see the Lakers are coming back. If they're healthy, they're definitely going to be up there. He said, like Chris said, Phoenix is definitely up there. Phoenix is going to be back. The Phoenix is going to be motivated this year.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Denver's definitely going to be up there. Say. Yeah, Denver's going to be up there. I'm trying to think of.
I don't think the Lakers are going to be in the top three at the end of the season.
Wow,
I don't.
Really?
Now, are they good enough? Yes, but I think they'll rest a lot. I really do. Now, I want to say somebody and I have talked before with Westbrook, they probably won't rest. Maybe it was Perry saying it in their group chat. But I just
LeBron
think
definitely resting.
Oh, yeah. LeBron's going to probably take like every other game off, even though he may dress and be out there. It's like, you guys got this. So I don't think they really worry about the rankings this year or even the standings when it comes playoff. They don't care. They could be seventh and still be fine. Actually, I can see them going. I don't think they'll do that. Back up. I'm just speaking here, okay? I can see them even.
Oh my God, LeBron in another playing tournament. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I can see them coming at the 8th seed because after they beat out the 1 seed, it's like they're the 1 seed. You're like, who really cares? That's how good this team is going to be. And as old as they are and as injury prone as some of these players are, I would take it as easy as I could and just put it on cruise and go. So I see them 4, even maybe up to a 6 seed. I don't think they'll go back to a playing game. But I think that's just because they do not care this year.
I honestly disagree, but in my opinion, like if they do drop underneath like the 3 seed, I don't think it'll be anything lower than 4. Because I feel like Westbrook's going to play the majority of the year. Honestly, like if he is healthy, he's going to play the majority of the year. Anthony Davis, in my opinion, is going to be the best player on the team, just because I feel like Frank Vogel should really. And LeBron should really look to really get him involved early and really have him take over each game. So. When you look at that combination, and then of course, it's kind of like what we said. LeBron's not really going to have the type of season that many expect, just because he is going to be. Honestly, I don't expect LeBron to average anything over like probably 16 a game, if we're going to be honest. And look, and to be honest, that's fine because he's in year 19. We should all look for him to rest, just because we want to see LeBron in the playoffs. So I'm not mad at him if he does decide to take half the season off. Now, will he? I don't know, but then again, that's up to him. But like I said, Westbrook and AD.
Even resting, let's be honest, even resting, he could easily average 20 points with his team.
Oh, yeah, without question. But, the reason why I said around 16 is because I feel like, with him having so much firepower in Westbrook and AD, I feel like he's just really going to let them run the show for most of the year. Even though he is going to get his, but, we're not going to see him go as hard as, as we may have seen him like probably 4 or 5 years ago do.
Right. He'll play 5 minutes as hard as he can.
Exactly.
1 in the first quarter, 2 minutes in the first quarter, 2 minutes in the second, and then maybe 1 in the fourth quarter. Actually, I'm just going to say 1 in the third because by then it's not going to matter anyways.
Right. So, who else is out there in the West? Honestly, I'm trying to think. Like as far as tough teams. Here.
Okay. Jazz, Suns, Nuggets, Clippers, Mavericks. Blazers.
It's tough. It's tough for me in Utah because nobody expects him to be the number 1 seed again, but. No. What do you possibly see him, like 4 or 5, maybe?
Who, the Jazz?
Yeah.
And this, I think we do this either next week. We just stick with the East and just go at it with the whole time, and then the week after we do the West. I think we need to do this. I think it'd be great and a lot of fun.
Okay.
But just looking at it, I've said this. I think the Suns will come back and be number 1 this year. I think the Nuggets will be up there at 2. Honestly, I'd say the Lakers would be there if they actually are trying hard. Like, I just feel like that would be an easy spot for them to try and still rest. And then I'd honestly say probably the Jazz at 4, Clippers 5, 6, the Mavericks. I honestly have a feeling the Blazers are going to end up breaking it up midseason. I don't know why. I just feel like this is the year. And this is another reason I'm going to kind of circle back, and I don't want to stay on it where we keep talking about Ben, but I feel like the Blazers are almost like the West Coast of the Phillies because
really,
just because they're always so good, but they can't ever get over the hump. Like
that's true.
76ers are supposed to have been this great team, trusting the process for years, and I think that's why Ben wants out. Like, you know what? It's the same book every year. It's just different players in this situation. We had Butler supposed to take us over the hump and get us over here. Noel should have been somebody. Going back to Okafor should have been that somebody. I'm tired of reading the same book. Get me on a new team. Let's see what happened. Like, Dame's supposed to be this promised guy, and he's great. Don't get me wrong, but like CJ broke his back pretty much, and the next year CJ was hurt again. It seems like every time something happens with the Blazers, like it's time to say, okay, we're not in our prime anymore. Let's get them out elsewhere and let's rebuild.
This is why I keep saying, Dame needs to start putting pressure on this front office.
Absolutely.
And like, to be honest, I mean, it's been I think he's going into his 10th year this year, and he's only gone to one conference finals, and in that conference finals he got swept.
Yeah.
The Blazers, I mean, and I've said this numerous times, the Blazers, we all expect them to be decent, but going into the playoffs, we don't really expect them to really do anything. And it's constant every single year, first round exits every single year. Even this year, like even with Dame dropping at 55 points in that game 5, another first round exit. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like for Damian Lillard, which in my opinion, I mean, I think he is getting his appreciation now, but like 4 or 5 years ago, Dame wasn't in a lot of people's top point guard list. And I would have to remind people. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. But the reason why is because Portland is not that they haven't really been that good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't put Dame ahead of Steph, Kyrie, maybe Westbrook around that time when he was at OKC. I don't know about now. People may have Dame over Westbrook now, but back then a lot of people didn't. But it's always because Portland has just never been good. I know we're kind of going off topic, but I mean, it's kind of like, what I said before. I mean, everybody expects Portland to like be a decent team, but once the postseason comes around, it's really we don't really expect them to do anything. That's why, in my opinion, I mean, I know they got Chauncey Billups as their head coach this year, but I don't really expect them to I feel like they might barely crack the 8 seed.
The only way I see that Billups as a head coach changes them, and don't get me wrong, they're a great team. Every one of them are great athletes, is they play more team ball. Like in years past, even when they were a couple years ago, I think 2020, when they're in the playoffs, had the great run. Melo out of nowhere resurrected his career because he was with no one. Like still, it was you could have basically put 2 guys on Dame and 2 guys on CJ and not worry about the rest. Okay, play the 5th guy on Melo, and that basically stopped the team. Like it's a lot of isolation, one-on-ones, create your own thing, which is great. I understand that's the strategy and that's how some teams play. That's just not the style I like. I can see Billups coming in, trying to get more of the Detroit Piston years offense. Hey, let's buckle down on defense, play hard, and work the ball around, get people in their spots better than create your own spot. I would like to see that with Portland, but I don't see that happening with Dame and CJ.
I
Especially
agree.
Since Dame kind of said, I didn't really have much say on the head coach.
That's true. That is true, but I mean, back to the Clippers, basically. With everybody, with everybody expecting Kawhi to be out, so now that means players in Terrence Mann and others are going to have to really step up. So, say for instance, Kawhi, they all have a pretty good year, and now March, April comes around, Kawhi is healthy, Kawhi is available. Obviously, Kawhi is going to play if he's healthy, and the team's going to expect Kawhi to play. But do you think that will possibly interfere with the rest of those guys that are stepping up and and their production on the floor?
Definitely would hinder some, and I know this is the weirdest thing that popped in my head, but I think of the Miracle. Did you ever watch the movie The Miracle with the USA hockey team?
Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's almost like when they mid-season or mid tryouts where they're working together, they stop by this one ice hockey arena, pick up another guy who's supposed to be like one of the best teenage players in the U.S. Well, he's great and doing all those great things, but the team's like, hey, wait a second. Like, we already have our team. Why are we trying to pick him up? It's going to hurt our morale. It's kind of hurt our bond.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, if y'all think that, we're not going to pick him up. Now, obviously, we're not going to do this to Kawhi. We're going to take him. But at the same time, it could be a great way to say, okay, we're going to play you as a 6th man for a little bit. Obviously, you are you, but we're going to bring you in with this other guys, keep our bond going on for their first string, and then we're going to work your way back into there. That's how I would try to play it, especially if it's going great and you're looking at a 3rd seed in this. I'd be like, yeah, take it easy. We're going to rest you and then put you in with them as much as we can. That way you kind of keep that bond instead of losing it. What about you? How do you feel on it?
I'm still really trying to think, because I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I mean, Kawhi's gonna be the guy when he comes back. I mean, I feel like there's no debate there. So, you know, obviously, guys like Paul George's gonna have to take a step back. Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, you know, whoever, Marcus Morris, you know, basically everybody on that team who is able to get theirs, being able to score at a high level, is gonna have to really take a step back. So, will that interfere with them? I think it will somewhat, but I feel like Ty Lue is a really good coach, and I feel like he doesn't get his respect. Because, I mean, even like during the playoffs this last year, you know, when Kawhi ended up actually going down, I mean, he made his adjustments immediately. So that's how they were able to get through the Utah series, and that's how they even made it. That's how they even pushed 6 games to Phoenix. So the thing about Ty Lue is that Ty Lue knows how to make these necessary adjustments in order for his team to succeed. So of course others will have to like you know, take a step back. But I feel like for the better of the team, Ty Lue is going to figure out a way to continue to help everybody continue to beat up a good production.
And, you know, Ty's already coached a couple of 2 superstar teammates on one team. So, I mean, I think you'll be able to work at a way to play both of them and keep everyone going happy as well. I think Paul George and Kawhi's relationship helps that anyway. So, I mean, I think having Paul George, your best player, while he's gone, say, okay, guys, our man is back. You know, now we can take our step backs, rest ourselves as we keep on pushing. I think that'll help too. I think that'd be real good, actually. I'm a Clipper fan. Actually, I'm a Paul George fan and a Kawhi Leonard fan. Now they're on the Clippers, so I like the Clippers. Let's see here. Do you think that they may bring him back too early, though?
I don't think so. I mean, and to be honest, like, Kawhi's not going to – I mean, we remember the Kawhi situation in San Antonio, you know, where they did want him to play. The doctor said that he was clear, but then he calls like, no, I'm still hurt. You know, I have my own doctor. My own doctor says that I'm not able to play. So obviously, I mean, and the thing about it is that even when Kawhi got to the Clippers after he won the championship in Toronto, I mean, they've really been, you know, lenient on him, and, you know, really just, you know, just going based off of, you know, what he says. I mean, if Kawhi wants to play, then, you know, then he's going to play it. But if he's not ready to play, then he's not. So I think, considering, you know, how the organization is with him, I feel like, you know, whenever he's ready to play, he'll play. They're not going to rush him back whatsoever.
And I think Clippers, not that I'm trying to call you guys the younger brother of the Lakers, but you see how the Lakers do it. You all right in the same arena. You see how they rest and not play and just work their old men lineup. I think they're going to kind of copy that to a certain extent. Oh, man, I'm boring Nick so bad he is yawning on me here.
Oh, my God. No, that's not even it. That's not it. I yawn all the time, and I'm not even tired, to be honest. I'm probably going to be up another 4 hours.
Oh, gosh.
I am. I'm a night owl sometimes. I ain't going to lie. Sometimes I am.
Let's bring in a quick promo real quick. Hey, guys, if it weren't for all of our sponsorships, we couldn't do this show. Just to be honest with you, go to mybookie.ag and use that promo code USN100, and me and Nick ourselves will take out of our own wallet to double your first deposit that you make. From $50 up to $1,000, we will match it dollar for dollar. So go to mybookie.ag USN100 and put in your bets. Listen to Bets Unwrapped that just went on before us. You can check them out also on YouTube, since you're watching this anyway, so you can leave your comments on either the Facebook or YouTube, because Twitter doesn't do that anymore. You can go and check out some of their bets that they've made for, I want to say they did a huge parlay today, like a 16 parlay, but they always try to do their picks for the NFL games coming up tomorrow. Go hear what they said and place your money and bet responsibly. Bam. Man, I should do this for a living. So I want to ask you this, and I know we kind of just said let's talk about Ben and Kawhi Leonard, and then also our top centers. But let's go ahead and just dive a little bit more on this Western Conference, since we're talking about how the Clippers could act, the Suns being number one, if Jazz did get Ben. What do you think about the Mavericks? What are they going to be doing? Because I think they are like the biggest question mark in the Western Conference.
You want me to be honest?
I do.
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. Like, honestly, I mean, you know, Jason Kidd is a great mind, but my thing is, you know, considering how things did end in Milwaukee, the question is, like, is he that guy for Luca? Now, I'm not gonna lie, he was an assistant coach with the Lakers, and he ended up winning a title with the Lakers. But now, you know, he's back in that coaching position. So now the question is, can he and Luca connect on a certain level. And the question is, can Luca and Porzingis figure out how to connect on the court? Mm-hmm. Now that's a big question. Now, in my opinion, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if it doesn't work out this year with Porzingis, or even like through All-Star break with Porzingis, you got to let him go. So at least somehow, maybe through the trade deadline, or maybe after the season, because honestly, Luca really has no help, to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. Luca really does not have much help, and it just really seems like the Mavericks didn't really make any moves even beyond this free agency and offseason to really help elevate themselves. Because here's the thing, in my opinion, if Luca really had like another like consistent scorer right next to them, the Mavericks will beat the Clippers. Luca was really beating them by himself. Like, honestly,
he really was.
Like, he took him to 7 games by himself, and I mean, he did get great production from guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, even Bojan Marjanovic was placed in the starting lineup. So he did give them good minutes as well, but those guys aren't really going to be guys that are really going to help elevate the Mavericks as far as being a championship team. But then again, I mean, Jason Kidd, we'll see new schemes that he has, how he'll be able to utilize all the guys, because it's crazy. Because I mean, we all know Rick Carlisle as a championship coach, but then again, he wasn't really able to help them really get over that hump. So I just hope that in the near future they really find like a true second guy for Luca, because I feel like Porzingis is capable of being that guy, but he just doesn't really show it. And I feel like if it doesn't work this year for Porzingis, then I think they need to find something else for him.
Excuse me. And I tell you another one, Dwight Powell.
Dwight Powell's definitely good.
He's been good, but yet he has moments where you don't even know he's on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Hardaway Jr. I absolutely love. Tim Hardaway, I absolutely love. And since you're junior, I have to love you too, because your dad played for Miami. But anyways, I just feel like, like you're saying, like they need that, sadly, the third help guy, really. But you almost have to have a second help guy in the ball handling scheme.
That's true.
And I feel like that's where they like Tim Hardaway. You're good, but he's more of a set shooter.
They have Jalen Brunson coming off the bench as the next ball handler. But then again, and look, Jalen Brunson's good, but he's not necessarily like other guy. Yeah.
So I mean, that's it too. And honestly, Finley Smith, I don't remember him. I'm sitting there trying to think of what he did. I don't remember him even playing very much.
He's a good stretch shooter per se, but I mean, he's a decent player. But I mean, then again, it's kind of like I said. I mean, it's not good enough for Dallas. Like, what I'm saying? Like, this roster is not really going to elevate them. That's why I don't really see Dallas really making a good push. In my opinion, they're going to make the playoffs, but in my opinion, they're probably going to be 6 or 7. In my opinion, in the West.
That's kind of where I was thinking, even possibly falling back to the play-in, because we don't know what Porzingis is going to do this year. I think that Luca's play could make Porzingis better, especially with Jason Kidd there running the pick and roll, learn, hey, we got to get him the ball here in certain times, even though he probably got a better shot. And I think it's going to help him. But if it don't, I definitely think they need to get rid of Porzingis right away, because you don't want to waste Luca's career with nobodies.
It's honestly bad when you're 7'3" and you're posting up on the block, and obviously the guy that's guarding you has like no way of blocking your shot. You're right around the rim, and then you're just blowing layups and stuff like that. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing?
Honestly, last year it ticked me off so many times, because like you said, I'm pretty sure he really is 7'3", and he would catch the ball mid block almost. Well, I would say probably 8 to 10 feet out.
Well, the thing about him is that like his strong shoot is he's kind of like Karl Anthony Towns. He's more of like a stretch. He's more of like a stretch big. So that's more of his play style, more than going into the post. But then again, if you are 7'3", then you should be able to make those easy looks as well.
Right. But what killed me, 3 plays right in a row, they did feed him, and instead of even taking a dribble towards the goal or making a move, it was, let me take my inside foot, swing it out where I'm squared up to the goal instead of making any kind of moves. I'm just going to shoot a shot from here and let it be challenged or not. There was one time he did that turn, and it's just basically a clear out, swing out, and he had the lane where he could take one dribble and dunk the ball, and he still settled for a fadeaway shot. I'm like, Porzingis, you've got to be aggressive. You're the 4 and sometimes could be the 5. You need to take it on in there and basically yoke the ball every time. You're like, don't settle for that so much. If I was 7'3", I'm just going to say I don't know if I would ever shoot a 3. even if I could shoot it. But that's just because I'm old school. You give me the ball, I'm getting to the rim somewhere or another. I'm going to get a foul, and I'm going to dunk it on you, and I'm going to have a poster of you. But I feel like that tenacious mindset Porzingis doesn't have. And I think that kind of shows a little bit. Poor guy. Like, you have talent. You have a great shot. You could really be a good ball player in the NBA. But I feel like he's timid.
He definitely is. He definitely is timid. And it's crazy, too, because when he was in New York and everybody was just calling him a bust and everything, I actually had high hopes for him. But then, he gets traded to Dallas. And I'm not going to lie, I thought Luca in a healthy Porzingis, because if you remember at the time that Porzingis got traded, he was still injured. I think he was dealing with the ACL injury. So I was thinking a healthy Luca and Porzingis, that combination should be able to dominate the league.
Oh yeah,
but obviously going into Dallas, it's just not working out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if it doesn't work out this year, because I feel like Dallas is really going to test it again and see what happens. But if it doesn't work this year, they need to find something else, because at the end of the day, if you don't keep Luca happy, then things are going to change drastically. He's going to probably request a trade. Because I want to say it's after this year or maybe next year that he'll be able to sign his rookie extension. So if he turns that down and he may want to trade, then that's really gonna turn the franchise upside down.
Oh wow, yeah. Could you imagine just losing Luca, like not trading, but just absolutely letting him walk for a contract? That would be heartbreaking. So I don't really want to say this, but what if Ben could go to this team? Do we think that could happen? For Porzingis?
I don't know if Philly does that, to be honest. I don't know if Philly does. I mean, you never know, but
right.
In my opinion, if I'm Philly, I probably wouldn't take that, just because I mean, Porzingis is kind of in that same boat as Ben at this point. You know what I'm saying? Especially after the playoffs that he had. But just imagining Ben and oh yeah, that's right. Dallas also got Frank Ntilikina from Dallas too. Or from New York actually. I forgot about that. But okay. Just imagining Ben alongside Luca, Luca is more of like, Luca and Ben are kind of like, in the same position. Like, they're both primary ball handlers who really initiate the offense. So I think, Luca, it might be good for Luca just because Luca can really focus more on putting the ball in the basket. He doesn't really have to worry about, having to get other guys involved. So, and that might actually benefit Luca from that perspective. But considering that,
at least Ben can create his own and give Luca a break and kind of get to his spots to where he's attacked that way. But I like it for Dallas, but do you really want to take Ben's defense and lose it for Porzingis?
I mean, without question. I mean, if you're Dallas, you take that in a heartbeat. But I'm thinking, those two guys will be great in my opinion. But then again, I'm looking at the rest of the roster, and it's decent, but it's not really that great. So. Looking at that, you have two dominant all-stars, Ben Simmons, Luka Doncic, then you have the rest of the other guys. Is that going to be enough in a tough Western Conference?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the roster here on ESPN with the depth chart, and I see, as far as second string and beyond, I see Willie Cauley-Stein.
Oh, yeah, well, Willie Cauley-Stein is definitely solid. Okay.
Yeah, but he's also a third string on this team, so – and the only reason why I know him because he played for Kentucky.
That's true. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, Dallas is. I don't know where Dallas goes, honestly. I mean, it just doesn't seem like because here's the thing, Luka is such a young talent. Because I want to say he's probably still like 22, 23 years old. So he's still. I mean, even though he is a superstar at this point, he is still on the rise. So. I feel like Dallas should be wanting to do, or Mark Cuban or whoever should be willing to do everything that they possibly can to get him a real team around there. Because it's kind of like I said. I mean, I do expect Dallas to make the playoffs, but it's kind of like Portland. Like, you know what I'm saying? That we don't really expect them to do anything. Now they were close last year, beating the Clippers, but then again, that was really a one-man show. That was really Luca just really tormenting the Clippers really by himself. So just imagine if he really had a complete team around him, and the circumstances of what that could have been. So. With Dallas lacking, or the front office really lacking to really build a team around him, I just don't know what the future holds for them.
I definitely think they'll be making a trade of some sort to try to make this team better.
Yeah.
What do you think they need? Just throwing out there.
They definitely need a consistent second guy next to Luca. They need defense. Well, I think with Ntilikina being a part of the roster, I think he definitely will bring that defensive presence.
He's hurt right now, right?
No. I think he should be good to go this year.
Okay.
Heading into this year. I would say more rim protection. I would definitely say more of that, or at least like, more guys that, they're able to defend the paint. And besides that, honestly, here's the thing, like Luca's going to be able to do everything anyway. So if you just, get him like a second, basically if you get him like a second consistent score alongside like, great defenders who are able to knock down shots, I feel like that team could be successful.
Yeah, they're not too far away. The bench needs help, I think. But yeah, if they could get, I would love to see McCollum go there. To be honest with you,
okay.
I think that would be great. Maybe that's where I'm at. That's where the breakup happens, and Dallas jumps on that bandwagon, takes some people from there. So yeah, CJ McCollum is going to Dallas by the end of the year. I'm a genius. Like, I can't believe I know all this stuff. But okay, let's see here. We've already been an hour and 15 minutes. Honestly, it's almost 12 o'clock here. I know you said you'd be up another 4 hours. I'll probably be up another hour or two watching a little bit of Office. But
nice.
I think we've covered a lot. I'd rather not just kind of keep it going and hitting some stuff where we're just kind of filling in air here. But let's go ahead and bring on this Patreon real quick. Guys, go to patreon.com/unwrappedsports and check out all of our merch or all of our perks that we have there, not mercs. We've got 3 different tiers. You got the $1 a month where you just say, hey, thanks for doing sports stuff. Absolutely love you. You guys are the most handsome duo I've ever seen in my life, and we'd appreciate that. $5 second tier where you're just a part of the family, lets us know that you do care about us. You're in the Discord chat where we keep it active so much. Definitely a lot of bets going on in there. And then, of course, the $10 a month, that is the VIP section where you get 20% off of our teespring.com/stores/unwrapped. And also you get entered into our memorabilia giveaway that we do each month. And it's not been announced yet for October, but I want to say last month was a miniature Ricky Williams helmet. So a lot of good stuff. Baseball's about to hit into the playoffs. I would hope it would be something towards that field, but go check it out. Patreon.com/unwrappedsports.
Definitely check that out.
Nick, you want to go ahead and recall your plugs real quick?
Yeah, for those who are still watching, follow me on Twitter at NickAndreATR. I'm very active, basketball-wise, NBA Twitter, so check out, any hot takes that I have. Also, for people that, like to debate with me on Twitter, I'm just not with the whole typing back and forth, with long paragraphs talking about, certain teams and everything, so I don't know. I'm just not with it. Like, what I'm saying? If you want to hop on any pod that I'm on and we can just argue from there, just do that. But I'm not with the whole typing back and forth on, like, Ben Simmons or whoever. Like, what I'm saying? Like, if you want to debate me, try to find a way to debate me, maybe on a podcast or maybe in Twitter Spaces, honestly. We can do that. So if you're listening, do that.
Just come on, count the bucket. We'll
come on, count the bucket as well. Come on, count the bucket as well.
Follow me, MDLawson00. It's my Instagram. It's my Twitter. It's even my TikTok, which I am TikTok famous with about 20 people.
That's crazy. I honestly still don't have a TikTok.
I'm telling you, Nick, don't be the guy that gets TikTok and has it for like 10 years and never do a video. Like, even if it's just something plain, you at least have to have one video on there. Otherwise, you're a creeper. All these guys that...
But it's just so crazy though, because like some people like you like they'll make a video instantly, then they'll get like freaking like 50,000 views like out of nowhere. Like, it's crazy.
I'm telling you. Like, there was one where it's like, it's the algorithm. If you play this music and put no hashtags, you'll get so many views. And I did the video and I got like 600 watches. I'm like, how did 600 people really just watch that video? That was dumb. Then I did one where it was like really cool. Like my kids, I did them in slow motion going in for a dunk on this little kid to go. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Like, it's going to be great. And they got like 50 views. I'm like, really, guys? One, it's got the kid factor. Automatically, it should get like 150 views.
Right.
But it didn't happen. But, oh, well. They know what they're doing somehow with that algorithm. But anyways, go follow me on Twitter and all that good stuff. My show on Thursday night is Backstop Banter. Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Also, there's a chance for our Count the Bucket next week. We may have a special guest with us. I really hope it happens and doesn't fall through. I'll go ahead and mention the name, I guess. Or should I just wait?
What do you want to do? Like, what do you think is best?
I don't want to say it and it fall through and just be like, wait, what's going on? So there's a special guest that I'm in contact with that may join our show that I think you guys would really appreciate and just like to hear his commentation. what he has to say about the upcoming NBA season. You've seen him before on TV. You've seen him a lot with college basketball, NBA, even with the basketball league as well. He's very big into that, where it's the playoff, or I think it's the basketball playoff. Basketball tournament. That's what it's called.
The basketball tournament. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's real big in that. Loves that. So tune in next week. Hopefully we have him on here. Guys, Nick, are you done? Anything else?
I think we're good, man. See y'all next Saturday.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Sarah.